have you ever had a creative idea? It was like a wisp or a spark of an idea that you just didn't know how to get it done, how to get it completed, and it just fizzled out, right? And you probably look back at it in hindsight and you just went, man, I wish I could have carried that through. I just didn't know what to do. Today on the show, I'm going to talk to you about two examples that have happened in my own life and talk about a few of the steps I did and how I can help you with getting that spark of an idea done. Hey, welcome to the show. Welcome to the channel. My name is Kevin Gregg. I'm a creative director, writer, producer. I am here to help you get your creative work done and, more importantly, help you get to a point where you're making a thriving living from it. Um, it's what we're going to be talking about today. You get those thoughts or those ideas that come into your head and you just go, gosh, that'd be something if I could make that, if I could bring that into reality, bring that into fruition and just make that happen. And I know that sometimes when we're doing this stuff as creatives, you can just feel so lost and you don't know exactly what to do. Well, I'm going to share a couple of stories with you with examples that happened for me that ended up leading to, the reality of them actually happening, and it ended up leading to financial gain for myself and my family, which was an amazing thing as well. Now, both of these examples I'm going to give you today, the thing that I had on my side, and it's probably something that you have on your side too. Both of these are examples of stuff where I saw other people had already done versions of this before. So in both of the examples I'm going to give you, it was like, well, other people have been doing it. And maybe part of your creative idea is that. You may have an idea where you just go, gosh, I see that that person is doing that. I could do some version of that. I know that I could. Great. I'm such a huge believer in if you're seeing somebody else do it, it is possible to do, right? It's that scene from The Edge with Alec Baldwin and Sir Anthony Hopkins, where, they're about to go get this bear, and Anthony Hopkins is, trying to pump up Alec Baldwin's character. And it's just like he's got this thing because they have to have this, they got to kill this bear that's been then going after him. And he has this one moment in it where he's just going, what one man can do, another man can do. Say it. What one man can do, another man can do. That's what I'm telling you right now. What one person has done before in the past, it is possible to do. It's going to take effort and energy to do it. Let me give you my two examples. The first one was this years ago, especially being a professional working actor, I was doing work at Disneyland, but I also saw there were other opportunities that were out there, particularly in television commercials. And I could see that there were other people in my circles, in acting classes and stuff that were getting commercial agents and booking commercials, but I was kind of, I wanted to do that, but I wasn't sure exactly what to do. It was all new territory for me. Um, and part of this was number one, hearing and seeing that other people were doing it. And then I would slowly start to ask people, well, how did you get that? How did you get that agent? Part of this was about me doing the investigation and gathering some research. Like, well, what are the steps that I would do to get it? At that time, for me, getting a commercial agent was a couple of things. It was about getting together your picture and resume, trying to put it together as professionally as possible, and doing submission letters and making sure that you were getting these submissions into these agencies. And if possible, to also have a referral that could help walk your picture and resume in. And I remember that I had this one thought I had been coming into, I've been working at Disneyland at the time. And I remember as I was coming in, and I remember this just as clear as day. I was walking into work, and you usually have to walk like a solid mile from where you parked into where the location was that I would perform every day. And I felt like it was like a left field thought that I can only attribute to the Holy Spirit. But it was like, Kevin, you're going to spend the next 10 days in a row consistently writing up, submission letters, putting together packets, and you're going to do that for 10 days in a row, and you're going to submit those. And part of the challenge, especially at the time that I was doing this, we're talking about like the late 90s, almost 2000. And part of the concept was in order for me to do this, I would have to be bringing in my laptop computer, but also I didn't have access to, a company printer that was there. I was bringing in like I would have to bring in a bulky printer to make sure that the letters were getting written and printed up and all this stuff, right? So I'm giving you an older example of this, of like the type of commitment and dedication that you have to do. So during that time, I didn't have to do it all 10 days in a row because I wasn't always at work. But several of those days, I would be loading up this huge, bulky printer that I had, putting it on like a cart. I was dragging this thing in a mile in and then a mile out every day. And I was getting strange looks from people. I was getting looks from people like going, "What are you doing?" And also, other performers and stuff that I was working with going, come on, what are you doing all that stuff? Like thinking that it was a waste of my time. But I did it, man. I like showed up every single day. I wrote out those, letters of submission. I think that by the end, I probably had about 50 of these submissions that I did over the 10 days. And it was like doing a lot of research. I had to go down to, at the time, they would have like Samuel French Bookstore where you go in, they'd have like a guide or a directory of like commercial agents, and you'd be going through and cross-referencing or looking at some of the different trades. You're doing your research, right? And part of this is a little bit, you're sort of a little bit blind as you're doing it because you're just like going, I'm somebody that they do not know, and I'm taking a chance here and putting all this stuff together. But I'd put all that stuff together. I'd mailed a lot of those off. There were several of my friends who were very kind who said I'd be happy to walk in your agent submission because they also knew the work that I was doing. So they saw evidence of the fact that I was after this. And sure enough, it ended up leading me getting an agent. It ended up leading to me getting a commercial agent that I had. It was ultimately through a reference that I had, but because of that relationship with that agent ended up leading to transferring into another agency, but it ended up leading to like hundreds of thousands of dollars of commercial work that I got over a several year period. And it just came from this idea of like saying, huh, these other people are doing this commercial stuff. I, I think that I can do that. Like, not only do I think that I can do that, I know that I can do that. And I remember doing things like taking a commercial workshop, right? I remember that time there was this commercial workshop that was in LA at the time. It was some of the older folks will recognize this, but Tepper Gallegos, right? It was like this 6 week commercial workshop that you had to pay for. That was like $600 at the time to like drop down $600 so that you could learn the techniques of how to audition and to do all that stuff. And I paid for that stuff as well. So like doing that and then going out and doing the submissions and just like doing the research and making the commitment to show up every single day and to get it on track. And it was amazing, just being in that atmosphere. But it happened because I thought, I've got this idea. I need to start asking and doing research, asking other people what they did, and then finally making a plan for myself where I said, here's what I am going to do. I'm going to spend these 10 days in a row writing out all these things and submitting them. And all of that proof of work and just that action, those steps of moving forward. Even though sometimes it felt like I was doing it blind, but doing it and getting it out there, it led to that stuff. The other example that I want to give you, it's happened with the stuff that you're watching me on even here. I've been doing podcasts and YouTube videos. I started off doing podcasts like back in 2009, like talking about my experiences as a working actor, as a working creative. Been doing that since 2009 and always just doing that because part of me back then, back in 2008, 2009, I would always think like, I can do this. Like I can do this, like getting on a mic and talking to people or interviewing people. It is a skill that I've developed over the years, and that it is that I have it's become easier over the years, and I can do it. I can do it. I can do it well. And I just thought, well, I think that I can do that. And part of this was trying to figure out like how to navigate this with, you know, the internet, with putting stuff out there. And part of this was just doing the research online. Like, how do I do this? Do I need like professional equipment and all this stuff? And it's like you started finding out, like, no, you don't have to do that. I'm, guys, not kidding you. I am still talking to you today on like a $20 microphone that I purchased from Radio Shack almost 20 years ago, right? Like, it's not about doing complicated stuff. It's just about going out and getting the stuff. And then experimenting and practicing and yes, making like some, terrible, goofy, long shows or shows that are just all over the place or rambling, but just like showing it up and being willing to do it, experiment, put the stuff out in public, right? To practice that way and to put it out and to like learn from the mistakes of what I was doing and to be learning to consistently show up and put out the material. So, what's happened as a result of this, right? From doing this, has it been like, great, he's got millions of viewers? No, it hasn't been that. But a couple of things have happened. Number one, my ease with being able to be on mic, be on camera, to interview people, have developed that skill over the years. Um, and also, particularly over the last several years, because of the consistency in putting out the work and stuff that I've been doing, um, it's I have been putting together a portfolio of my work and my experiences that I have done over the last several years. And as a result of that, especially when clients were looking to hire me for stuff or that they were referred to me or that they may have found me online, I had all of this work that I had done that ended up leading to confirmation of what they needed to see for proof of work to go, oh, yeah, this guy has been doing this. Oh, this guy has got creative experience in the industry. And this has led to like there was 1 year doing this stuff, especially as we got to the as we were coming out of COVID and all this stuff, and like things were like really all over the place. These videos and the podcasts and stuff that I did served as proof of work and portfolio that, in that 2021 year ended up leading to like $70,000 worth of work that I got from clients, and part of that was because of me showing up and doing this continual podcasting and talking, you know? And that only happened because I just thought, I got to figure this out. I got to figure out how I record, how I edit, how I publish, how I do live streaming. That was a lot of stuff that I did with Paul Carganilla on Your Creative Journey. Like getting comfortable with the uncomfortable and going, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to go for it anyway. And having all of that stuff and just showing up consistently and practicing and realizing when you had files that crashed or things that didn't come along to just go, I'm just going to keep showing up. What's the next thing I can learn? What's the next thing I can do? And how do I put that out there so I can publish it so that people can see what I can do? You show up and you do it, right? But that wouldn't have happened. And again, it was that idea that I'd had of just like going, I think that I can do that. I think as people are talking or putting out their stuff, and sometimes it's a situation where you're looking at people and just going like, I can do something way better than that. And I'm sure that you probably have those thoughts and those ideas. You've had this idea for uh, a video or a film or a story or something like that where you've just gone, I can do that. I think that I can do that. Well, I'm going to tell you what, I'm here to also tell you that you don't have to go at it by yourself. As a matter of fact, from all the stuff that I've learned over the last, few decades, I've realized it's a lot better when you've got other people that you're doing it alongside with. We're doing that at Working Creatives right now. If you visit workingcreatives.com, we've got a community that's over there. And particularly over the next few months coming up, we're going to be focusing on a couple of things, which include if you've got an idea of like, how do I build that idea out and get clarification on what it is that I'm trying to do and how I do this and creating a plan for myself. We're going to be taking you through steps over the next few months coming up where we're going to walk you through what to do that. And we've got incredible tools that are going to be over there. We're going to have individual classes that are pre-recorded that you can go that will help you with that. We've got Zoom one-on-ones that you can sign up for so that you can be part of a small little cohort that's trying to workshop this stuff through. And we also have things like daily did it accountability check-ins where you get to be accountable to other people publicly so that you're continuing to move forward. That's just a tease of the stuff that's over there. But the only way that you find out about it is by going over to workingcreatives.com, and you'll see that I've got my community that's over there. It's hosted on School, Skool. And if you head on over there, you can join that community right now. Join that community and see the stuff that we're doing as we're building out, because I want to help you be able to get that stuff done. So I hope that you found today's episode helpful. More than anything else, go to workingcreatives.com. And if you like this video and you want to keep coming back, and finding out things that will help you get your creative work done and get it to market and help you to make a thriving living doing it, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, and I will be back here and continue bringing you that content that's going to help you on your creative journey. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you on the next one.